Hi folks, this is all the fruit. And when I researched the firebush online, basically the first information I came upon was one of the most commonly planted unknown animals. Does it get much better than that? So it's being planted everywhere and nobody knows that you can eat the fruits. Sounds promising. Well, the firebush, Hamelia patens, comes from kind of tropical areas of the Americas, but it can also be planted as an annual. It is being planted as an annual in more temperate climates, where of course it gets damaged by harsh frosts. In the tropics, like in Central America, North and South America, it's quite popular, not only as an ornamental. Apparently it has beautiful red flowers with even red flower stalks, but here it almost seems that this is some variety with yellow flowers and green flower stalks, so the ornamental value of this one is a bit different. But even if you look at the fruits, I mean this mixture of green, red and black is quite beautiful and apparently edible. So what can you use this for? As an ornamental, of course. You can also use it for its high content of tannins. You can tan with it. You can tan leather and stuff like this and dye things in reddish brownish dyes. Also, it's being used for a medicine for a lot of different uses in Latin America. I will not elaborate on this. This is a channel about wild animals, not so much about wild medicine. And also you can eat the fruits. However, why is it so commonly planted that nobody knows it's edible? Well, you have to eat them with caution. It's another one of those plants which can be really great, but also can be kind of a bit dangerous. Apparently, at first, it feels and tastes like a grape, sweet and juicy and sticky. Nah, the grape is better. I can feel oxalate needles. Also, the texture is a bit tougher than a grape. I think I have fully ripe fruits here. Sounded very promising, but no. Basically, the big problem with eating it raw seems to be a bitter aftertaste at the back of your mouth, and some people don't taste this aftertaste. Nobody's mentioned the oxalate. I mean, it does feel like oxalate or some other types of burning hairs or needles. I don't feel the bitterness at the back of my throat. I feel some bitterness from the beginning on the tip of my tongue. It tastes a bit like a hairy wild cherry, a wild cherry pronunciavium, but the fruits are slightly hairy, and you feel/taste this. Here you can see the hairs, especially on this reddish big fruit in the middle. You can see that it's hairy. And the hairs feel kind of similar like the oxalate feeling. I don't know, is there really oxalate inside, or are those just the hairs that feel like that? I don't feel a strong bitter aftertaste, but in general the fruit is disappointing. Okay, the texture is a bit chewy/crunchy. That can be good, but there is not enough sweetness. The hairs are irritating, literally. The slight bitterness also doesn't make it better. It's being said that it's not such a great fruit to eat out of hand. Some people like it out of hand, others who are more susceptible to the bitterness don't. For me, the bitterness is really the smallest problem. If it was really sweet and didn't have those irritating hairs, I would totally tolerate the bitterness. I mean, I also like bitter cherries in moderation. It's being said that you can boil it, make it into jams, juices and jellies, and then the bitterness disappears. I wonder if the irritating hairs disappear too. A bit of a disappointment. I mean, it's possible that here in the botanic garden it's not in its prime, but in this and in other botanic gardens I have eaten totally Totally good and very sweet tropical fruits. I mean, the best bananas I've ever eaten come from this very botanic garden and this very greenhouse. So yeah, a bit disappointing. One of the least known, or one of the most planted unknown edibles. Kind of edible. Well, if I wasn't so lazy, I would take a handful and boil them and see if I can make some preserves out of them. But still good to know that the firebush is edible. Tell me if you have experience with eating firebush or maybe using it as a medicine or for some other uses. Apart from that, stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the beautiful and sometimes quite busy Heidelberg Botanic Garden. And if you don't want to miss any more of my videos, it's not enough to subscribe. You also need to press the little bell icon.